Hello, 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 everybody. It looks like, I'm just trying to figure this out. I'm looking at, it's showing two accounts here. So, anyway, hello, everybody. Nice to see you back. This another week. I'm amazed how fast these weeks fly by. I really am because it seems like it was just yesterday we were talking, but that was a week ago. So, hi, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the Mary D Talk Show, live every Monday from 1 to 2 every Monday. Been here almost 4 years now, 3.5 years. And as you can see by the topic for today is the great debate. The great debate. I was just going to put the debate, but I think it's the great debate. I think it is. I thought about it. Oh, no, I almost forgot. You know how I get to talking. Hi, everybody. Hi, live viewers. Thank you for being here if you're live. Hi, replay viewers. Thank you for being here if you're a replay viewer. Hi, those and the executive producer of the show is my husband Oliver. Hi, Oliver. He's in the back. Those of you that will see him, he comes on Christmas. He comes by and he says hi to everybody. I'd like to also thank our sponsors, the Idea Club, for, Front Page Publishing is a sponsor for the show. I like to thank all of you that support the show. Um, I come in sometimes after the show, after let's say about 3 or 4 days, and I see all these people that watch the show. They didn't see it live, but you saw the replay. Thank you. If you haven't already subscribed, you can subscribe and like. Just go to YouTube, subscribe and like. And even when you do that, that tells the system, oh, we have people that are interested in the show. So they show it to more people. Because sometimes I'm just on YouTube and I don't know what it is. I'm not even on the Mary D Talk Show. I'm on somewhere else, and they'll show up. The Mary D Talk Show shows up in that screen. But then, like they said, maybe that's AI following me around. I really don't know, so I can't tell you how that is. But I would like to tell you, thank you for coming out and thank you for being here. Today, the great debate. Hi, Antonio. This is a good one. This is a good one. As you probably have noticed, I try to stay away from politics for the most part, but I think this year is special. This year is special. This year is different. It's not the same old, same old. It isn't. It's not, it's just out of the box. As we know, things changed about a little over a month ago. Over a month ago, let's say 6, 7 weeks ago, when our current president decided that he was not going to run for reelection. That's a big deal. That's a big deal because that's a sitting president. So um, it changed the trajectory of everything. Everything changed in that moment, pretty much, because I think everyone had just said, okay, this is the president is he is in the office, and normally that is what happened. They run for reelection. They want to be reelected for the office. For a president to say, no, I'm going to step aside and let someone else take the reins or the helm, that kind of thing, is is huge. Now they're saying, but this is an election year, so even though he's saying he's stepping aside, he's saying he's not going to run for reelection, but he's also saying he said when he said that this is my pick to run in my stead is what it amounts to. That's what he's saying. So I'm not going to run, but I want someone else to run in my place, and that's when he picked our current nominee. Now today on the show, um, I wanted to talk about some things that I thought might be of interest. Many of you are familiar with Project 25. Some of you know about Agenda 47. Um, we haven't, I don't know if you've gone to the website for the Harris agenda, but I thought I would talk about all of that here on the show and really give you, um, and I'll be honest, this is the first, I'm trying to give you an unbiased view, to just give you the information without being biased one way or the other. And I'd be the first to admit that that's not easy to do because most of us have our biases, they're innate. So, like it or not, they're there. And my goal is to remove that and really give you a picture of each candidate. I know the debate is not until tomorrow night. Um, but that's all. I don't know about you, but that's all I've been hearing about in the last week, for sure, at least in the last week, is the debate. So I just wanted to share that with you and kind of give you some insights. And as I said before, and to remain neutral as I'm giving them. One insight that I'm going to give, I gave some, those of you who see the email, I sent that out like about 30 minutes ago. I tell you, me and these emails, um, I did not send a text out. The text messages only, they usually only go out twice a month, and that's pretty much it. So the next text, maybe next week, I think, but it won't. But I really try to reduce the text messages. Oh, hold on, my phone. I forgot to put my phone on silent. Okay, so this is what I want to do: is go over Agenda 47, Project 25 in the Harris Agenda. That's the goal for today. So is to just give you information. Now, the truth is, you may know more about these, and if you do, and you want to put comments in the comment section, that's fine. I am getting the information from. I will tell you exactly. One is from I think it's the New York Times. Hold on. That didn't have the Times. No, I'm sorry. It was the one is from the Hill. That's for one of and it goes into the information about Project 2025, and one is from Forbes. So those are the two, which are definitely not, I mean, they're well renowned publications. So I'm online and I pulled these two up. I thought it was New York. I thought it was New York, but it's not. But I thought that's where I got it from, but it was Forbes instead. So, but as you know, and I know, these are investigative reporters, and their job is to get to the bottom of things. That is their job, is to find out the truth of whatever it is they're reporting. Now, do they already have innate biases? The answer is yes. We all do. I'm just gonna be honest. There's no way around it. That's just who we are as people. But I do think they try to be as objective as they possibly can. And that doesn't, and they may or may not be. I don't want to say, because I'm no authority. I don't want to sound like that because I'm not. But I just wanted to share with you some of the things I've been reading, and you make your own decision. That's pretty much it. You just, which you will anyway. You decide for yourself how you will vote and what you will do. One thing I asked on the email is, do we really need to have a debate? That's what I was asking. Um, and for those of you that don't receive the emails, let me give you an address, an email address. You can send it. You can send your email to, and I will put it in the chat, and I'll add you to the email list. Let me give you, because there could be someone here who's never been here before. And you're like, well, I want to be on the email list, and I didn't give you that information. First of all, I'll give you this number. Just call this number and leave your name and your email. And if you like to get the text messages, you can leave your cell phone number. And if you like to just have your first name, that's fine. You don't have to include your last name. But what happens is, if you have your name and your email, you go on the email list. You have your name and your cell, you go on the text list, or you can go on both. Many of you are on both. You get the email and the text. You can't. I think that's the best. I think that's the better way, because you're gonna get the information. You know when the show starts, it comes out. You know when any information. If you're on the email is definitely more frequently. I send out emails. Well, I shouldn't say. I was sending them out pretty frequently. Now I've slowed down. It's like I'm giving you guys a break. So now you don't get them as frequently, but you get them. But I just don't send them out every day. Now I send them like every 2 or 3 days. But even when I did that before, somebody still thought I was sending them out every day, but I don't. The last 2 weeks, I haven't at all. I haven't. That you guys haven't got many emails at all. That's I think that's necessary to have those times where you can kind of absorb the information that's being emailed to you. So, but you can call that number, and please speak slowly and clearly when you do, if you're calling that number, or you can send an email. I'm gonna give you my email. It's in here. I'm looking for it. Of course, I see everything but my email. You know how that goes. I'm looking. Well, I'll give it to you. I do not see it, but I know it's in here. It's Mary, Mary, at marydwelch.com. Mary at marydwelch.com. And if you send an email there with your information, you'll also be added to the email list. Either way, you'll be added to, if that's what you want to be, as on the email list, or you want to be on the text list. Either one, whatever, as they say, whatever is your pleasure. Either I will or somebody from our team will take care of adding you to the list. Okay, now let's get into it. This is, as I said before, it's called the Great Debate. And I'm going to introduce to you two candidates. And I'm sure you know them. We've been, who hasn't been talking about these two candidates for some time now? Well, the last few weeks for sure. I'm going to do ladies first, as many of you hear about ladies, but I'll just say our ladies first. I can't add it. I don't think, hold on. Let me see if I can add you to the screen. Hold on. If it'll let me. If it'll let me do that. No, I don't think it will. Because we're not. Hold on. If I can record. No. It won't let me do that. So I'll just read it. I'm gonna have to just read it to you. Okay, yeah. I'll just read it. So this is from, as I said before, this is from, did I say Forbes? No, this is from the website, I think. The website. Okay. So we can get some information. It is Vice President Harris and Governor Walz are fighting for a new way forward that protects our fundamental freedoms, strengthens our democracy, and ensures every person has opportunity to not just get by, but to get ahead. As a prosecutor, Attorney General, Senator, and now Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris always stood up for the people against predators, scammers, and powerful interests. She promises to be a president for all Americans, a president that unites us around our highest aspirations, and a president who always fights for the American people. From the courthouse to the White House, that has been her life's work. Now, these are the areas. It says build an opportunity economy and lower costs for our families. Her areas include cut taxes for the middle class families, make rent more affordable and home ownership more attainable, grow small businesses and invest in entrepreneurs, take on bad actors and bring down costs, strengthen and bring down the cost of healthcare, protect and strengthen Social Security and Medicare, support American innovation and workers, provide a pathway to the middle class through quality and affordable education, invest in affordable child care and long-term care. Whoops, I went too far. Oh, lower energy costs and tackle the climate crisis. In addition to that, she would like to see safeguard our fundamental freedoms, which include restore and protect reproductive freedoms, protect civil rights and freedoms. She also has said these are some areas too, and that is make our communities safer from gun violence and crime, secure our borders and fix our broken immigration system, tackle the opioid and fentanyl crisis, ensure no one is above the law. And I believe these are the last ones of her. Her agenda: stand with our allies and stand up to dictators and lead on the world stage, invest in America's sources of strength, support service members, veterans, their families, caregivers, and survivors. Okay, those were the topics of interest, I guess you could say. Now, these are the ones for Trump. I think I'll give you the right information. Okay, it says know about Trump's policy agenda if elected as he speaks at the RNC, Republican National Convention. And it says, what is Agenda 47? This is under Forbes. Okay. Agenda 47. It says Trump's Agenda 47 consists of a series of proposals his campaign issued on its website during the primary election season from December of 2022 to December of 2023, many of which may require congressional action, but some of which may be enacted through executive orders, separate from Project 2025 proposals developed by third-party organizations. And that would be like the Green Party, the Socialist Party, I think it's the Freedom Party. Those are the considered third-party organizations. One is education. Trump's proposal for K-12 schools includes having parents elect school principals, cutting federal funding to any school teaching critical race theory, ending teacher tenure, creating a new credentialing body to only certify teachers who embrace patriotic values, encouraging prayer in schools, making it easier to kick out of control troublemakers out of school. Supporting school districts that allow teachers to carry concealed firearms and pushing school choice policies. Universities. Trump has proposed getting rid of existing accreditors for colleges and universities and creating new ones who impose his party's values on institutions, along with levying specific fines on colleges and universities that he believes discriminate against students, with a plan to use those fines to create a free online American Academy that covers the full spectrum of human knowledge and skills. Let's see. Climate change. Oh, I'm sorry, I went way down. Okay, climate change. The U.S. would again leave the Paris Climate Accord, and the ex-president has proposed getting rid of President Joe Biden's policies restricting emissions and targeting 67% of new vehicles to be electric by 2032 and massively scaling up oil and gas production. And that's fossil fuels, by the way. Justice Department. Trump has pledged to appoint 2 U.S. attorneys who would be aligned with his policies and investigate some left-leaning local district attorneys. Also, pledging to establish a DOJ task force on protecting the right to self-defense and fight purported anti-conservative biases at law schools and law firms. Crime. Trump has vowed to invest in hiring and retaining police officers, and this is in parentheses, and increasing their protections from legal liability. So they would never be prosecuted, no matter what. So push policies like stop and frisk, direct the DOJ to dismantle every gang, street crew, and drug network in America, deploying federal troops, including the National Guard, to restore law and order. when local officers refuse to act and impose the death penalty for drug dealers, drug cartels, and human traffickers. And immigration. Let's see. Trump plans to prohibit undocumented immigrants from receiving any benefits and birthright citizenship for the children of undocumented immigrants, reinstitute a travel ban from certain countries, pause refugee admissions, mandate extreme vetting of foreign nationals, block federal grants to sanctuary cities, end the catch and release practice of releasing immigrants while they await immigration hearings, close the southern border to asylum seekers, and suspend visa programs, including the visa lottery and family visas. Okay, I'm going to take a moment to just go back before I go on and check on if there are any comments. And there's a couple of comments. I just had a feeling. I said, you need to check your comments. Okay. I don't know who wrote this. Use the banners. Use banners to summarize. I don't know if you guys wrote it or the system wrote it. Anyway. Oh, I know this. Okay. This isn't the comments. Okay. I'm looking to see if there are any comments. There are none. Isn't that interesting? That must mean you guys already know about all this stuff. You already know. I'm still learning. I'll be the first to admit that. I am still learning. I'm not so up to date that I know every little thing. I can't say that. I'm still learning. So I'm going to go back and, okay, on immigration. Trump plans to prohibit undocumented immigrants from receiving any benefits in birthright citizenship for the children of undocumented immigrants, reinstitute a travel ban from certain countries, pause refugee admissions, mandate extreme vetting of foreign nationals. Did I say that one already? I did. That's why it sounds so familiar. The foreign policy and defense. Trump wants European allies to pay back the U.S. for depleting its military stockpiles, sending weapons to Ukraine. He has also taken a hardline stance on China, calling for new restrictions on Chinese-owned infrastructure in the U.S. and wants to build a missile defense shield. So, next is Social Security. In a shift from some pro-Trump GOP politicians' views, Trump has said that there shall be no cuts to Social Security or Medicare under any circumstances. For homelessness, Trump plans to work with states to ban public camping by homeless people and instead to give them a choice of receiving treatment or being arrested, and calls for creating large tent cities where homeless people would be relocated, which would have doctors and social workers on site, along with expanding mental institutions. Next, transgender rights. Trump takes a hard stance against transgender rights, calling for any healthcare provider providing gender-affirming care for youth to be terminated from Medicare and Medicaid, stripping federal funding from any school whereas official or teenager, whereas an official or teen or as an official or teacher suggests a child could be trapped in the wrong body, and encourage Congress to pass legislation saying that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. Next is called the Big Tech. In line with conservatives' claims that social media platforms are biased against them, Trump said he'll pass an executive order barring any federal department from working with other entities to censor Americans and prohibit federal money being sent to combat misinformation. Also, announcing steps like altering Section 230 to open up social media platforms to more legal liability. I think that's it. Okay, now this says here, so I'm getting text messages and I'm getting two things going at once. Okay, so what I'm noticing, ladies and gentlemen, what is Project 2025 and is it similar? And we'll come back to that. Let me come back uh, to before we get into that. We're going to talk about Stanley. Oh, hi Stanley, how are you? Good to see you. Stanley says it's no, he said the Social Security is on the chopping block. You have a video to prove it? Wow. Well, please send it to me. Because according to what I just read, he said it's not. So I don't know. I'm at the I don't know point because there's so many things here going on. That's all I can tell you. And what I'm trying to do is we know tomorrow night. This is what I talked about too, and I'll go back to Project 25 too in a minute. Um, I personally think people have already made their minds. I do. I don't think I know anyone who hasn't. So if you already made up your mind, what is tomorrow night really gonna do one way or the other for you? It's gonna either affirm. That's what I'm thinking. So you will be able to affirm, yes, this is the candidate I want in the Oval Office, or you say, no, this isn't the candidate I want in the Oval Office. It's up to you. And those of you that say it doesn't matter if I vote because we have the Electoral College, every single vote matters. There's, and many of you are familiar with the winner take all, and that's why we have these quote unquote battleground states. Because if you win the state, you win those electoral votes. That's what they mean by winner take all. If you win all the electoral votes. Battleground states include Georgia, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. Where else? Pennsylvania. Excuse me, I'm trying to think of the other one. That's the three that come to mind. I think Nevada was there. I don't know if it still is or not. But the ones I just named, I know I just heard them mention them earlier today too. So those are battleground states, meaning that it is literally a coin toss. They don't know which way that state is going to go. Nobody does. So we have to wait and see. But every vote matters. That's what the point. I remember years ago, you used to hear people say, "Oh, it doesn't matter if I vote or not." I haven't heard that lately, but I do remember hearing that. Oh, who cares what I vote? My vote doesn't matter. I used to hear that growing up. If there's an election, you can bet that Oliver and Mary will be there. This is how much we vote. They come by our house when they run for office. That's what they come by and they want to know because they know we're two voters. We're going to vote. Period. End of story. There's no question about it. There's no we're going to think about it. No, we're voters. And so that's one of those, they make a point. When they're running for city council, I can depend on them being at that door. I already know. If they're running for anything local, they're going to be there for sure. Hi, Stanley. So I'm saying that to say they know who votes and who doesn't, by the way, in case some of you didn't already know that. They have the information. They know who voted. I don't know if they know who you voted for. Now, that I don't think they know. But they know if you have voted. They know that for a fact. That's on the voting records. It shows that not only that, if I'm not mistaken, it'll show how often you voted. Not just that you voted. So ours is, this line of they vote. These people vote. They go to the polls and vote. So we want to make sure they vote for whoever, they want in office. If they make a point of stopping by our house, they want us to know, because that's two voters that go to the polls, or we send it, we mail it in, one of the two, but we're gonna vote. Are you determined like that? That no matter what, do you send it in? I know mail-in ballots is real popular now. I like it because we get the text message that said, yes, we received your ballot. That's our confirmation. We have received your ballot. I like that. I'd rather do that than stand in line for hours and hours and hours to go vote. I'd rather just do it by mail. But some people don't like doing it by mail. I've heard people say, nope, I don't want to do anything by mail. I just want to go to the polls and I want to vote, cast my vote. I'm like, okay. As they say, whatever floats your boat. Now, this is what I did too, and I will share this with many. I think I've talked about this before. I was a voter registration. I did voter registration. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna say 6-7 years ago. I was one of the people that knocked on your door, and I would ask you, "Are you registered to vote?" And 9 times out of 10, everybody said yes. What we found, 50%, think about what numbers we're talking about here. 50% of the people we knocked on were not registered to vote. Easily 50%, probably more like 60%. They were not registered voters, but they said they were. They kept saying, they'll tell me, oh, I'm registered. And I said, do you mind if I look it up? Do you mind? And I take out my phone and I just put, I think at that, if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember how we did now. It's been a while. But I think we may have done the last 4 of their social. Whatever it was, think about what I'm saying. So 20 people told me they voted, and I looked it up. 10 didn't. At least 10, probably more like about 12 didn't. But I'm saying that because that's how prevalent it is, that people think they're registered and they're not. So you have to take the time. If you have moved, if you move from one, even if you're in the same city, doesn't matter. The minute your address changes, you have to register to vote again. And it's amazing how many people I found didn't know. And I'm saying that because they were registered to vote. They thought they were registered. But that was because that was before they moved. And so once they moved, they didn't know they had to re-register. Nobody ever told them, or they just didn't know. So here they are. They moved in the same city, but didn't know they had to re-register. So at that time, when I did voter registration, I would help them go in and register. They could fill the paperwork out right then and there. Then they got a receipt verifying they're now a registered voter. And that was endearing to me. I really liked that job. I said it wasn't a jobby job, I guess you could say, but it was so rewarding to knock on someone's door and find out they were not registered, and they were surprised that they weren't registered. And they'll tell you, oh, I was registered when I lived on such and such street. I said, but once you move to this street, you have to re-register. They're like, nobody ever told me that. I didn't know that. And I said, not only that, your polling location could have changed, and many times did. I remember going to one home, and there were 5, think about this, 5 people in the home. It was so exciting for me to register 5 people. I was like, yay! I couldn't believe it. But it was the mother, the father, and all 3 children. All 3 children were adults too. And they need to be registered to vote. So they got registered to vote. And that one time, the mother, I think it was the daughter that answered the phone, answered the door. And I mentioned who I was. And the daughter was like, you are not going to believe this. And I'm like, what's the matter? She said, we just had this conversation. We just had it. They had just talked about who at their dinner table was registered to vote. And none of them had registered. Or for some reason, probably life. And then I knock at the door. That was such a good feeling. I still remember that. And they just did their voter registration. Everybody was all happy. They're like, boy, we can't believe you're here. So I had some really good experience. I did have Actually, let me think. I think I have one that I can recall, a negative experience. That's all. Think about, I mean, I went to hundreds of doors. I'm not talking about one or two either. I went to hundreds, but I loved it. And I just, and to hear when people say, well, I'm already registered. And I say, can I look it up? And I look it up, and they were registered for that address. And I said, and I would give them a high five, and I would, I said, I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. And they're like, why? And I said, because I knock on a lot of doors and everyone isn't. But you are fine. You're registered, you know your polling location, you are, whatever their party they're registered under. And we don't do anything with that, by the way. We don't encourage what party for you to register. Everyone knows that you're a registered voter. That's it. So I'm saying that because somebody here, I'm sure, is not registered to vote. I already know. Would I say over 50%? And then I mentioned that those you got the email, it said the numbers of women, the women voters is 51% are women voters in the United States. That 1% more than men. But women tend to live 10 to 15 years longer than men on average. Of course, we know some situations where women passed away first. I don't want to sound very, cut and dry, but on average, women live 10 to 15 years longer than men. That's just the facts. So you want to make sure too, if you're like, and this does happen too, when the person's deceased, that you notify the register of voters also, so that someone else doesn't get their voting material or something like that. You want to notify them not to no longer send it to that address. You want to be very clear that they're deceased, and you don't want someone to vote that's deceased. So you probably have to send it back or something like that. But it's real important. It may seem like, oh, these are things that they don't really matter, but they really do matter. All of this matters. I can tell you that now. It all matters. So we're going to go on. I see Elaine. Elaine, I just saw Elaine. Elaine, I made it to the WAG meeting today. You said, hi, Mary, tuning in late, dealing with medical issues. Oh, I know, I heard you, Elaine. Over here, prayers needed. Blood clots put me in the hospital last week. Wow. Glad you are doing this needed voter education and voter registration combo. Thank you, Elaine. This is one. Like I said, this is how strongly I believe in it. Is that I went door when I go door to door for anything. That's telling you something. But I went door to door. I sure did. Walked. It wasn't. We did. I can't. No, we did in the afternoon, so it wasn't as hot, but it was still wasn't cool either. But I will tell you, it matters. It matters. You can check to see if you're registered to vote if you go to vote.org. Vote, VOTE.org, and you should be able to look up your name, and it'll say if you're registered. If you're registered as an independent, it'll say that. If it'll say Republican or Democrat, it'll say REP or DEM next to your voter registration, or you say independent, and I think that's IND, and any of those, or you could be the Socialist Party, the Freedom Party, the Green Party. Those are the ones I'm thinking of. Those are called minor parties in our democratic system. But let me tell you that though they may be quote unquote minor parties, many of their agenda items become on the dominant political parties. Republican and Democrats are the dominant party. That tends to be the ones people are on more often than any. You're a Republican or you're a Democrat. That tends to be. So I don't want you thinking, oh, I'm that's all there is Republican. Some people really don't know that there are other parties because they've been with those two parties, and they don't have any reason to look into other parties. But there are other parties. They're considered minor parties, but they are there, and they have their agendas that they would like to see put forward. Many times they're already been included with the dominant party's agenda. So let's say I'm going to use the Green Party. The Green Party wants to make sure we're doing something um, with climate change or that kind of thing. So the Green Party may bring that as part of their, like the number one on their platform, and either Republican or Democrat can pick that up as part of their platform. So, but minor parties are very important. They're very important. You don't hear about them that much. That's what I noticed too. They're very, I'm not gonna say they're quiet, but they definitely don't get the attention of that the Republican and Democrats get. They don't get that kind of attention. No. But they're there. But I do want to say, hi, Elaine. It's always good to see you. And I'm sorry about the blood clots. I know you said you were keeping your legs up. I know, I don't know if it's the heat or whatever, but I was just telling Alba, I said, I have to keep my feet up because I'm starting to make hold water. I don't know what that's about. But we're gonna keep it moving. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep it moving. So if you have any comments, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't get into, let me say, I'm not done yet. But the one thing I do want to talk about is Agenda 47. Let me see where I have that. I want to make sure we speak to that because that is actually, if I remember correctly, it is very, this is not something so like on Project 2025, Trump has said he doesn't have anything to do with that. He has not said that about Agenda 47 because this is something from, okay, here we go. This is a PDF download. Let me see if I can open it up. Okay, I think this is it. So, what I don't know if anybody saw CNN last night, and they went over some of the things that either one of the candidates had proposed. And the one thing that came out of that was that some of the things that are being proposed can be the by executive order, and some can't. Some is going to have to go before Congress. So it just depends on what it is. But everything is not by executive order. Let me say that. Okay. Now this is Project 47. It says President Donald Trump declares war on cartels. All I could say is you can declare war on cartels, but I don't know that you can. Cartels is number one. They tend. I'm not saying they don't happen here in this country because I'm sure they do, but they tend to be in Mexico, and some people would even say they're part of the culture. So it's not an easy thing to destroy them, or you can have war against them, but I can't speak on how that's going to happen. That's one of those very nebulous situations, but I wish you well with that one because from what I see with the drugs and everything else, that would be very hard to do. It's more or less, in my opinion. This is what I think. Not that anybody cares what I think, but the only reason drugs exist is demand. That's the only reason. That's it. If there was no demand, there'd be no drugs. That's how I look at it. So the key, in my opinion, is to eliminate the demand, and the drugs will dry up. People only if they didn't want the drugs, there would be no cartels or anything else if they just didn't want the drugs. My concern is that people are dying due to the fact that they're using these drugs. Before it was just an overdose. Now you could die easily if somebody doesn't get to you with what is the pen? Everybody knows the pen I'm talking about. And if they don't get to you with that in time, then the chances are you're not going to make it. So, but anyway, Agenda 47, ending veteran homelessness in America. That's another goal. I'm not saying it can't happen. Maybe it can. I love to see it happen because I see predominantly men. I don't know if they're veterans or not, but they're homeless. So I think it'd be good if we just end homelessness, period. Not just for veterans, but for everybody that's homeless. Agenda 47, no welfare for illegal aliens. I don't even know how that works. Maybe they're getting welfare now. I don't even know. I have no way of knowing. I don't know what. That's one of those. It's not in my wheelhouse, so I can't tell you about it. So I want to give you opinions about something I know nothing about. Um, the American Academy, which he announced to plan to revolutionize higher education by shifting excessive large endowments from private universities toward a new institution called the American Academy. I don't even know if you can legally do that. If someone has given to, let's say I'm in charge of a university. If you've given money to my university, why would I want to be involved in everyone's money and then we don't have any control over it? I don't know. Trump's message to America's auto workers, and he says, "What's happening in our auto workers is an absolute disgrace and an outrage beyond belief. Auto workers are getting totally ripped off by the crooked Joe Biden." I shouldn't even say that. The name calling is, I don't even understand the necessity for that, but they ripped off by Joe Biden and also their horrendous leadership. Anyway, that's what makes it hard for me to deal with that this could be a leader talking like that. But some people like all that. That's what I have found to be the case. Now I know that that's not how we've taught our children to behave or to speak or to, none of that. We didn't, but everybody's different. President Trump's pledge to homeschool families. In a new agenda video, President Donald J. Trump promised to serve as a champion for America's homeschool families. Now, many people can't homeschool their kids because they have to go to work. I don't know how that will work. When you have, let's say you have a single parent and they work, they can't homeschool. They have to work, go to work to pay the bills, and then now you're saying you want them to homeschool the kid. I'm not saying it can't happen. I just don't know how this would look. President Trump's 10 principles for create schools leading to great jobs. You go to donaldtrump.com/join. Agenda 47, America must have the number one lowest cost energy and electricity on earth. Again, I don't know. It doesn't say how that's going to happen, but I'm sure they have a plan for that. I don't know what that is, but it doesn't say it here under Agenda 47. Medicines, oh, I'm sorry, wrong. Agenda 47, returning production of essential medicines back to America and ending the pharmaceutical shortages. So, as he says, as part of my plan to obtain uh, total independence from China, we will phase in tariffs and import restrictions. Let's see if I got that right. And import restrictions to bring back production of all essential medications to the United States of America, where they belong. I signed an executive order to begin the process in 2020, but that Biden didn't follow through with it. So another one, he calls for the death penalty for human traffickers. He pledged to end the scourge of human trafficking and defend the dignity of human life. And he calls for the death penalty of anyone that's a human trafficker. Rescuing America's auto policy from job killing policies. That's another one of his idea. Rebuilding America depleted military. Um, Protecting Americans by taking on big pharma and ending global freeloading. So it says, under his policy, the United States government will tell big pharma that we will only pay the best price they offer to foreign nations who have been taking advantage of us for so long. The United States is tired of getting ripped off. Cementing fair and reciprocal trade with Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. Under the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act, other countries will have two choices. They'll get rid of the tariffs on the U.S., or they will pay us hundreds of billions of dollars, and the United States will make an absolute fortune. Okay. It says using empowerment to cut waste, stop inflation, and crush the deep state. I will use the president's long recognized empowerment power to squeeze the bloated federal bureaucracy for massive savings. This will be in the form of tax reduction for you. Thus, you will help quickly to stop inflation and last. I'm sorry, slash the deficit. Sorry about that. Addressing the rise of chronic childhood illnesses. Too often, our public health establishments too close to big pharma. They make a lot of money, and big pharma and big corporations, and they spend and other special interests, and do not want to ask the tough questions about what is happening to our children's health. Ending the scourge of drug addiction in America. This is what, honestly, and I said this, and it really is true. It is truly, if there's a demand, if there was no demand, there'd be no drugs. Pretty simple. Is that what this is? We'll see. Too often, the public health establishment is too close to big pharma, and they make a lot of money. Big pharma, big corporations, and other special interests, and does not want to ask the tough questions about what is happening to our children's health. Okay, that's not the same thing. What I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is the health of individuals, period, not just our children's health. Celebration over 250 years of American independence in the Iowa State Fairgrounds. I know about that. One executive order ending citizenship for children of illegals and outlawing birth tourism. So, if right now, many of you probably already know, if you're born on U.S. soil, you're a U.S. citizen. Or if you're born to a U.S. citizen, you're a U.S. citizen. So, if you're born, if you're born in the United States, period, you're a U.S. citizen. If your mother's a U.S. citizen, correct me if I'm wrong, even if you're born in another country, you're still a U.S. citizen. If your parents are U.S. citizens, that's how that works too, unless it's changed. I think it's the same. So if I can be anywhere in the world, but if I gave birth, that child is still a U.S. citizen. Sometimes I think you can get dual citizenship between the country you're born in and the fact that you're a U.S. citizen. So you get a citizenship in two countries. Okay. Now, why is all this important? And why did I take the time to go over all this? Tomorrow night, you really won't have the time. I'm going to be honest with you. You will not have the time to go over any of this because I think tomorrow we're so busy. We're so intent on looking for, because what is a debate but an oral fight? To be honest, that's in my opinion. It's a fight where you're debating. My plan is better than your plan. So that's the fight. You know, who's going to win that? And then you're looking for ways where whoever you want to win is winning. If you're looking for a place for whatever Trump says, then you're on his side. Or you're looking for places whatever Harris says, you're on her side. But I think you're looking for ends to the one you want to win, and saying, "Oh, look what he did to her." But I think we need to stay focused on the policies more so than on the emotions of tomorrow night. I just was in a meeting, same one Elaine was in, and one of the gentlemen there is a very staunch advocate for politics, and he said, "I don't even watch debates." I thought that was very intriguing. He said, because I look at their policies. I don't have to see the debate. I don't have to, because debates become more emotional, then they become factual. They're more, it's our emotions that are just emoting of you want your candidate to win the debate. And then we sit back after the end of the debate, and because we've been hearing about it for a good, I'm going to say 2 weeks. We will hear about it, this debate, probably all the way to election of what happens tomorrow night, good and bad. So the key is you have to go with an open mind. I didn't even think about missing the debate until I heard the comment earlier today. And I was like, he could be right. He could be right. What is it about what do I think that the candidate I want to win is going to say that's going to sway me? What if the person that I don't want to win says something that could sway me? Isn't that interesting? It's funny how we don't think like that. We think only our candidate can say something that's going to sway you, but it really could be anybody. And this, let's see, there's hubby. Hi, babe. He says, hi, everyone who joined the show and gave your input. We thank you. Ta-da! I appreciate that. I tell you guys, you don't see Oliver, but he's right there. And this is Lorenzo. Hi, Lorenzo. Good to see you, Lorenzo. Lorenzo, aren't we supposed to be doing a book together? I thought we had a book. I can't remember. We talked about this book, Lorenzo, but we have to get started. That's the key. We got to get started. And Lorraine, you were writing something. Okay. So I wanted to just go over this with you, ladies and gentlemen. We're down to the last few minutes, but I want to thank you all for coming today because this was not exactly an exciting show. It was just more factual and kind of getting you ready for tomorrow. That's what it was. And let me also say, if you haven't already like and subscribe to the show, please like and subscribe. You go to YouTube and like and subscribe. You can also, I think you can do the same thing on Facebook. You can like and subscribe too. Remember, I'm here every Monday. Sometimes I have guest speakers, sometimes I don't. But sometimes I just really want to be, I try to be for the community an outlet that, and because many of the people on the show, they're local, but some are not. There will be some other, as many of you saw in my email, I was honored to have been on working on a movie set. So some of the talent from the set have agreed to be guests on the show. And they're going to come on. In fact, I think even the director said he would be a guest. And I would like to be a guest so you can talk about what it takes to be a director and how the creativity that's behind that position. We don't always see that. And he's a young guy. He's a father. But he talks about, how hard it is to do that because you're directing people. You're not just directing. You're directing for the movie, but how do you do that? How do you get people to do what it is you want them to do? So that is what we're going to be talking about. But we will be back a week from today, and to talk to keep the conversation going. And I don't know it'll be about because by then we will have worn the election. The debate conversation out. So the great debate will no longer be the great debate by next Monday, and then it'll be another topic. But I'll try and get it out to you a little bit sooner, not 30 minutes before the show. I'll try to make sure you get it before that. But I want to thank you all for stopping by today and spending some time. If you are not registered to vote, please go to vote.gov. I think it's .org, not gov, but vote.org, O-R-G. I think that's it. And even if you are registered to vote, why not double check? Just go there and double check and make sure that you're a registered voter, and make sure everyone in your household is registered voter that's eligible to vote. And you can make sure that in your family, make this a family thing, that everybody's registered to vote and that everybody votes in November. This is really paramount. It really, really, really is very, very important. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for stopping by. I will see you in a week. I appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. The Mary D Talk Show, another Monday down, but just know we'll be alive again next Monday. And we'll share nuggets, words of wisdom, any of those kind of things. But you can contact me with that number right there. Or I didn't put the, okay, you know what? What did you say, Elaine? First of all, you said most definitely. Oh, about your book, Lorenzo? Okay. And then Elaine said, Mary, please see my comment from above regarding Agenda 47. Okay, hold on, Elaine. Let me go up. What did you say? I got to make sure. It just said C. Did I miss it? Okay. Okay. Thank you, Lane. I did miss it. It was Agenda 47 was previously on his website, but it has been taken down. When comparing Agenda 47 to Project 2025, many of his Agenda 47 politics are included in the other document, even if reworded. Wow. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you. I'm glad you got that my attention. I hope everybody got that. So basically, they're the same. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again. I'll see you on Monday. God bless each and every one of you. Love you. Bye, everybody.